You ready for this? I'm going to come out of Matthew. Matthew chapter 8, if you brought your Bible. We'll probably put it on the screen, so let me keep moving. Jesus saw great multitudes about him, and he gave a command to depart to the other side. Then a certain scribe came and said to him, "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus responded to him. He said, "Foxes have holes, and birds of the air, they have nests. But the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." Think about that statement. Think about it. Foxes have holes, the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to rest his head. Lord, pull back the veil today. Let us see the comparison of our relationship here with one another as in relation to you and what you came and died for. In Jesus' name, amen. You know, your mind doesn't rest when home isn't secure. Your mind does not rest when your home isn't secure. And a lot of people, I have noticed, they use their work or their business or their profession or their success or their pursuit of education, the busyness of this and the busyness of that. But let me tell you something. If you succeed in all of those areas of your life, whether you have the best health, the best shape of your life, and you're the best looking, and you have the best personality, and you're successful, and you're financially secure, and you're respected by people, if you succeed everywhere in all of those areas and you fail to secure your marriage and you fail to secure your children, then what difference does it make? If you don't have peace and joy and love in your home, then what does it profit you to have all of this stuff on the outside and have no place to lay your head? Amen. To rest your mind. A place that you know it's solid. That it's not going to shake out from under you. That it's not going to break. Because that is what should be important to you. Now, foxes, whenever foxes sense danger, or they think they're in trouble, or there's a threat, or even if they're tired, they always go running into their holes. Because that's their safe place. It's a secure place. He's grounded in there. He's protected and shielded. Whatever's going to come, I can deal with it because I can deal with it head on. Because I'm grounded in this place. Now, birds of the air, they have nests. And they say things like, "There is a lot of things out here out to devour me. Things of the air and things on the ground. I have to watch above and below me because things want to devour me. They want to get me. But if I can just make it to my nest, I can get in this place where it's going to be difficult for anything to get to me. Because my nest is solid. It's secure. I built this nest. I worked on this nest. I know the nest." So to level the field right now, let me just say to everybody who wants to say, "Look, Jeremy, you don't understand my situation. And you don't understand my house. And you don't understand what all I've been through. And you don't understand my circumstances." No. You don't understand that nests must be built from broken branches. If you can build a whole nest from broken branches, then you can build a whole house with broken people. See, the problem today is we want prefab houses. That's what we want. We want a prefab. It's already ready. You know, because it's a lot easier to want somebody else's husband than it is to help develop and secure my own. Prefab. See, nobody wants to do the work of building a child either. They want to scream at the child and beat the child and yell at the child, but remember, the child has learned a lot of that behavior by what was modeled in front of them. You need to start building that child block by block by block, the best you can. And let me tell you what happens when you put your focus in that area. People are talking about you, and they criticize you. The fact of the matter is you ain't got time to worry about what people think about what you're doing on the outside, because this family thing is too important to me. Because I'm trying to build something out of these broken pieces that God has given me. So you have to build that husband. And you have to build that wife. Build that child. Because what good is it to build a house if you lose the child? Build the child. Because the child is going to outlast the house. Build the child. Because that child may just take care of you when you get old. Build the child. Listen, I know they're broken and busted up and weird and crazy and smart mouth and they talk back. You get so angry at them, you just want to choke the life out of them sometime. I get it. But when you get through feeling like that, get down on the floor and start building that child. Because you cannot have a nest if you cannot work with broken branches. Broken husbands and there's broken wives. Everything in your house is cracked somewhere. It is. I mean, look around the room in here today and how beautiful everybody looks. The guys got their button-up shirts and their nice clothes on. Put deodorant on, thank you, God. And the women's got their hair fixed and the smell and the stickiness of hairspray on my toothbrush. I love it. A chance to wear their fancy shoes that hurt their feet, but they don't care. Beautiful fingernails and all pretty little things on them. Little glitters and diamonds and bows. Beautiful. And that's what you see around you. But everything you see is cracked somewhere. And the only reason that you don't know it is because you haven't gotten close enough to see where the cracks are. Another thing you need to know is that you're going to have to provide for your family. You have to. You cannot pray away practical problems. I always like to take the other approach because I'm a little more spiritual, that you can't, practically fix spiritual problems. But today I'm going to reverse it and go back the other way, that you can't pray away practical problems. I don't care if you are privileged enough that God Himself personally raptures you up into the third heaven, spends some time with you, hangs out, lets you see all kinds of crazy creatures up there. When you come back, you're going to have bills to pay. You do. You're still going to have bills to pay. Because you're going to get thirsty. Going to need something to drink. Going to need to take a shower. Probably more than you do. You're going to need water. Got to pay for it. Sooner or later, you're going to get hungry. You ain't going to have no food. Going to have to get some groceries because you got to eat. You can't put spiritual solutions over practical problems, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. Same topic, different line. 1 Timothy says that if any provide not for his own house, For his own, especially for those of his own house, he has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. If you don't take care of what's yours, then you have denied the faith and you're worse than an infidel. You know, when you look up the word infidel, you'll find that it means unbeliever, is what it means. But if you actually dig a little deeper, check this out. This is what it means. Somebody who has been exposed to and yet rejected it. Now, I can take this in all kinds of areas, especially in your Christian walk, because people are exposed to a lot of things and reject it now. But we're just going to keep it here in this topic. So let that sink in. Somebody that has been exposed to and has rejected it is called an infidel. Now, in that text, it's talking about taking care of the widows, okay? And when it says that the widow has a family and they don't take care of their own mama, then you're worse than an infidel. Worse than an infidel. It didn't call you an infidel. It says you're worse than an infidel. I didn't say that. Word said that. I mean, birds take care of their own. Elephants take care of their own. Bees take care of their own. And you're going to walk past your own like you don't know them and say that you have Jesus? Now listen, God says you had the opportunity to make the house work, but you starved it out. You're worse than an infidel because you were exposed to something that you rejected, even though you stayed in that house. Infidelity, the root word, infidel, primary meaning, unbeliever. You rejected an opportunity. I'm fixing to take you real deep for about 90 seconds. Take a breath. Do you know why you rejected an opportunity? It's because you felt like you were rejected. Let me explain. The reason that you feel like you were rejected is because you haven't had real conversations about expectations and responsibilities. And, listen, spiritual hopes and dreams. Real conversations about expectations, responsibilities, about spiritual hopes and dreams. I know they're hard to talk about, but you've got to talk about them because those are the things you're talking about that postures you and prepares you for breakthroughs and revelations. Because if you're not having breakthroughs and you're not having revelations, then you will carry a sense of abandonment in your heart. When you have those things, listen, there is a foundation that's laid. When you do have breakthroughs and revelations, it lays a foundational progress that will overcome that sense of abandonment. Then we don't have to fake like we love each other, because that creates resentment, because love is hard to be faked. So it's time that you have to start saying, I'm going to start investing into my family. And I'm no longer going to define myself by dollars, because a lot of times we give you stuff to replace us. You know, I believe there's a lot of people in this room right now that have abandoned their kids because they hurt you. Abandoned your parents because they disappointed you. And you have abandoned spouses because they just could not ever seem to pick up on your signals. I believe there are people in this room right now who are still there, but they're not there. And so you're living a life that is awesome, I guess. Maybe it is awesome, but it's not grounded. And anything that's not grounded can blow away. And it's very expensive when it happens, emotionally and mentally, but most of all, generationally. Now, I know. I'm not saying that you can't survive it. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying you can't make it on your own. I'm not saying that you can't do it. And I'm not saying you can't pay your own bills. And I'm not saying that you can't take care of yourself. What I am saying is that there will be a deduction. All right, one other thing that's going to strengthen your broken branches. Structural support. I had to do some research on this because I didn't really know how to explain it. Structural support. Everything in this room has support. Okay? But you know what? Support doesn't get any glory. There's no glory in support. That was for somebody. But it's important. You came into this room, and beneath all these lights is paint. Beneath the paint is drywall texture. Beneath the drywall texture is drywall. Beneath the drywall is insulation separating between 2x2s and 2x4s and 2x6s. Headers over the doorways and over the windows. And you look at the floor and you see the carpet, but under the carpet is cement, and under the cement is dirt, but you can't see the cement. But it's there, and it's support, and we have to have it. So, the fact is, you have to have support in whatever you're trying to do. If you're trying to build a business, do you have support? You've been telling God that you're ready for the next level, but is your family ready for the next level? A lot of people get in the delusion that they think the next level automatically brings their family up. Not if you don't get them ready. Transition is difficult. Have you built enough support to support? You're getting ready to move to the next level, but can your kids handle it? Do you have the right kind of friends and support base around you? Does your wife have the right support for the next move? This is why God is giving you this right now. I believe that because you're getting ready to go to another level. And for the level that you're getting ready to go on, you cannot take old support with you to new levels. Because they ain't going with you. And if you try to take them, then you don't go yourself. See, you can't take them, but they can hold you back. You can't take old support into new levels. Because for the level that you're getting ready to go on, you're going to need some structural support to undergird you. It's not enough to have the vision, and it's not enough to have the dream if you don't have the support. Because it's not just about you. It's about everything and everyone that is connected to you. You want to build a great work of God in your life? Can your kids handle it? Is it the right time? Is it the right season? Do you have the friends around them to support your values? Or are you the only sane voice in the life of your family and in the life of those around you? There is one thing that I have learned in life for sure, is that the higher you go, the smaller your circle. People who's got all kinds of friends and they know everybody and they're running around with all kinds of people, they ain't going very high. If your circle is big, you're going to have to stay low. If you're going higher, you're going to have to be like a mountain and come up. And the higher you get, the smaller your circle. If you try to do it backwards, it doesn't work. You take the mountain, turn it upside down. Yes, the circle gets bigger as it goes up, but what happens? It falls over. That means you can't take everybody with you. You've got to be careful who you're trying to take with you. The higher you go, the more careful you have got to be with who you're going to give your time to. See, because you need to understand that provision is not just about money, it's also about time. Time management in your life. Because nothing of yours is going to run right without you. Everything that you have requires more of you, and you can't afford to fund everybody else's situation. And it's not that they're not good people, it's nothing to do with that. It's just that you're a limited resource. It's just that you're a limited resource. And some of you are absolutely wore out because you have too many things to do and too many people in your life, and you need to bring your circle in tighter for where God is getting ready to take you. Something else? To strengthen your broken branches? Let me tell you something. Every family is dysfunctional to some level. Everybody. All of us are dysfunctional in some way. Okay? The frustration that we have is that we always think that somebody has something that we didn't get. Always blaming other people for our problems. Whatever your problem is, you're probably blaming somebody or something for it. That's what we do. We blame. It's my mom's fault. It's my dad's fault. Foxes have holes. Birds of the air have nests. And my problem is that at a time when I am the most tired, I have no place to lay my head. I can't lay it on my daughter. There's issues there. I can't lay it on my son. There's issues there. I can't lay it on my wife. There's issues there. I can't lay my head on my husband because there's issues there. And you wonder why you're falling apart. And why you can't sleep. And why your food ain't digested. And you're wondering why you're having these crazy mood swings. In spite of all of your accomplishments, you have a battle to fight. You have a giant to kill. You have a mission. But the problem is you have no place to lay your head. One of the reasons you may be physically sick right now, one reason you might be all hypertensive and diabetic and stressed out and having eating disorders, one of the reasons that you could be having all these migraine headaches and panic attacks, it's because you have no place to lay your head. Your home should be a sanctuary. It should be a place of refuge. Your home should be the one place where there is order. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Because you cannot fight on two fronts. You can't. You can't divide yourself and fight on two separate battlefields at the same time. Because if your home is out of order, you're fighting those that you love at home and then having to fight in the marketplace and in your job. You can't afford to be looking over your shoulder. You can't afford to have your wife telling all her friends about your family issues, telling her mama about all your junk. You can't afford that. These are things you've got to work on in the quietness, in the stillness of your quiet place, coming unto the Lord and interceding on behalf of your family. But you've still got to work it out. You can't ignore it. Wives, I'm sorry, Wives, you can't be nagging your husbands about all the things he doesn't do. You can't. About all his shortcomings, and there's probably a lot of them. You've got to recognize all that he does and work with that. Work with what you got. Build him up in the Lord. Don't criticize every little thing. You've got to appreciate and value him, even if it's a small area to work with, and it probably is. Because it'll make him want to be more and do more for the Lord if you approach it that way. I know it looks like the other approach where you're attacking and criticizing all of the shortcomings looks like the way to get them out of the way, but it doesn't do it. It only solidifies their fortification. You've got to make him feel valued and honored in his house. You have to. You have to. Now, guys, hold on. And all me saying that and talking to the ladies, now listen. It's hard for a wife to do all of that if you're not going anywhere. So guys, ladies, don't listen. Guys, Sometimes your lack of not going anywhere causes those side effects. Okay, ladies, you can listen now. You've got to discern which is which, though. Work it out. Work it out. Your home should have a constant atmosphere of peace. And if it does not, that should be your number one mission. Above all else, let everything else slip through the cracks if you have to. Stay focused on number one. Secure the atmosphere of your home first before you move on. Because a house divided will not stand. This tongue, the tongue is sharper than any two-edged sword. The Word says it's sharper than any two-edged sword. So basically it's saying you're either speaking life or you're speaking death. You're speaking blessing or you're speaking curses. Are you building or are you tearing down? You can spend weeks building up your man. You can spend weeks building up your woman. And in one thrashing moment with an undisciplined tongue and an unsanctified tongue, tear down everything that you have built in one swipe. Sharper than any two-edged sword. Sometimes it's better not to keep it real. It's better to keep it running. Now, men, don't ever let your woman ever hear you say anything like you don't want to be married to her. Don't let it slip out. Don't let it slip out. That's the dagger in the heart that they don't recover from real well. Don't ever let them hear us say it. I don't care how nasty she's acting. Don't say it. Just don't say it. Don't try to put them in their place by stabbing them with a dagger. Just keep your mouth shut. The storm will pass. Ladies, I'm doing a seesaw. You like this? Woo! Ladies and men, I love it. This is fun. Ladies, you wonder why he's unmotivated? And you wonder why he won't lead. Okay, let's hit the other side. Because maybe every time he starts and tries, he doesn't do it the way you think he should. And doesn't respond the way you think he should respond. And so he's thinking to himself, well, this is pointless. It doesn't matter. I would rather do nothing than to suffer the tongue lashing and criticizing and nagging of my wife.
Help us, Jesus.
Help. I'm not getting a lot of amens and shout me downs today, but that's okay. That's okay. The inner scream of a godly man that says, will you just believe in me? Look past my junk and believe in me. Let me try to lead the home to the best of my ability. I've never done it before. I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to get it wrong sometimes. But will you just walk with me and let me try to hear from the Lord? Will you just say, would you just say, baby, right or wrong, rise or fall, I am with you till the end. God, teach me how to build with broken branches.